Hey everybody, how is it going today? Well, in this video, I'm going to be talking about a company named Energy Fuels, ticker symbol UUUU. Now, EV and green energy companies have been red hot, and this company is kind of like one, so it could be the next one to pop because it's making a very bullish chart pattern and looks like it's breaking out and headed higher. Now, if you are new to my channel, I like to find short-term and long-term trading and investing opportunities in typically lower-priced stocks. I'm going to show you how I trade some of my favorite chart patterns which have helped me become a consistently profitable trader. Now, each video I'm going to show you current trading opportunities, usually before they go up. And if that is something that interests you, please consider subscribing so you don't miss any future trading opportunities. But please remember, I am not a financial advisor. I'm only showing you what I do and what I'm thinking, so please do all of your own research and make all of your own trading decisions. Energy Fuels is the leading U.S. producer of uranium, the fuel for carbon-free, emission-free nuclear energy. Nuclear energy is expected to see strong growth in the coming years as nations around the world work to provide plentiful and affordable energy while combating global climate change and air pollution. Fueled by uranium, nuclear energy is the real green energy, generating 20% of all electricity and over 55% of carbon-free, emission-free electricity in the United States. According to their website, Energy Fuels is going to become the only primary vanadium producer in North America. Vanadium is a strategic mineral used mainly in steel, titanium, and high-stress alloys, but it also might be the next big thing in the clean energy industry as a component in large-scale batteries that can be used to store electricity generated from wind and solar. Now, their primary goal is to become the dominant producer of U.S. uranium in the world. They became the #1 uranium producer in the United States in 2017 and hold more production capacity than any other company in the U.S. These assets provide Energy Fuels with the tools they need to accomplish their goal to become a major uranium producer on a global scale. Energy Fuels has over 11.5 million pounds of annual licensed uranium capacity, more than any other U.S. uranium miner. This puts them in an excellent position to increase low-cost production as uranium prices rise. And while Energy Fuels is focused on uranium production, Energy Fuels is more than a uranium production company. They also offer low-cost environmental cleanup and uranium recycling services, including potential involvement in the EPA's cleanup of Cold War-era uranium mines. A letter from their CEO, Mark Chalmers, addresses environmental concerns by explaining, "Past uranium mining in the United States created many health and environmental issues. However, it's important to understand that most health and environmental impacts from the uranium industry resulted from operations that occurred decades ago in the years during and after World War II and at the height of the Cold War. Energy Fuels and the regulators that oversee our operations are working to ensure that those mistakes are not repeated. The uranium we responsibly produce today is helping address some of the most daunting health and environmental issues facing the world today, including air pollution and climate change, and we are proud to play a growing part in this global effort." Energy Fuels has been expanding its operations and now has mines in 6 different states in the Midwest, ranging from Wyoming all the way down to Texas. Nuclear energy is growing around the world, and in the United States alone, nuclear energy supplies 20% of all electricity and 55% of all clean energy. The fundamentals suggest we could be headed for a market that could become extremely out of balance because by 2040, experts are saying there will be a 1 billion pound deficit in production that is currently unspecified. So if a lot more supply doesn't come onto the market, prices will have to go up for uranium, and of course that's always good for companies that are mining it. Now, I don't plan on investing in this company for the long term, so I'm not super concerned with the fundamentals, but I do want to jump over there and show you them real quick so you can see where this company stands. One of the first things I look at, of course, is revenues. And as we can see, revenue has been falling precipitously since 2015 when it came in at about 61.4 million and has since fallen all the way down to 5.9 million. And then if we go over to gross profit, you can see it is following the same path. In 2015, it was 23.7 million and has since fallen all the way down to a loss of 12.4 million. Now, another thing I like to look at on these smaller companies is the cash that they have on hand. So cash and cash equivalents. It has been falling since 2017. It's not at a terrible position, but it fell from 18.6 million in 2017 down to 12.8 million in 2019. Another thing I like to look for is total liabilities. Total liabilities has been falling also, so that's not terrible, since 2017 from 58.1 million all the way down to 45.1 million. But one very important thing that I like to look at in these lower price companies are the shares outstanding. I want to see if they've been putting more shares on the market to raise cash to keep their operations going, and that's pretty common in these lower price stocks. But let me go find the shares outstanding. Okay, the total shares outstanding. You can see that they have been putting more shares onto the market. Back in 2015, it was 46.5 million, and it's just been going straight up since 2019. And right now, it's at 100.7 million, at least as of December of 2019. So this is how they have been raising cash to sustain their operations, which isn't good for long-term shareholders. It kind of reminds me of a sink with one faucet and two drains. You know, it's kind of hard for the stock to pick up traction if they're constantly throwing more shares onto the market to raise capital. And because every time a stock goes up, you know, if you're one of those companies that need cash and the stock price goes way up, what are you thinking? Well, you better take advantage of it while the price is high and you know, sell some more shares, feed some more shares into the market, and take advantage while the getting is good. But if you didn't see what I did up here, I used the Control F to find something on the page. This is pretty handy. I don't know if you ever used it before. I'm not very computer savvy, so this is very helpful for me. Like if you're going to looking at other companies' financials, you can just put in like shares outstanding. If you do that again, you can just kind of keep hitting enter, and it will show you every spot on the page where those words come out. You know, like say if we go back to cash, takes you right up to the cash, every word that says cash in this one. But if you get into one of the long company financial statements and you're looking for something, that is the fastest way to find anything. You know, a lot of you computer geniuses are out there like, yeah, big whoop, everybody knows that. What are you going to teach us next, Professor? Where the space bar is? Well, I'm not very computer savvy, so back off. But anyway, let's head over to the charts now. All right, let's go over to the charts right now, and this is the current daily chart of Energy Fuels Incorporated, ticker symbol UUUU. And as we can see, it is making a decent looking rounding bottom consolidation, and it is breaking out higher. I got in a little bit earlier today. I always use the hourly chart for my entry signal. But as we can see, this is a very, very nice looking pattern. Let's go hourly. I'll show you where I bought. I bought it at $1.96. So let me zoom in just a tiny bit here. I waited for the breakout and for the hold and then the move higher. So I got in at $1.96. I probably could have got in a little bit, you know, if you want to split hairs, I probably could have got in, you know, at 192, 193, but that move up happened kind of quick. You know, we saw all this volume come into the market. So I actually feel kind of fortunate to get in at 196, but it's at 206 at the moment, so it's like I'm up fractionally. It's practically up nothing, but I think we are going to get a move higher from UUUU. Backing out just again a little bit further on with the hourly chart, you can see how nice that rounded bottom pattern looks. If we go back to the daily chart, well, let's go to the weekly chart, see how long they've been around. They've actually been around since 2010 and reached a high, a pre-split high, by the way, of $85. Of course, it didn't reach nearly that high because it split 50 to 1. But wow, this one looks really nice right here. Let me go back to the daily chart. I wish I would have seen that in 2018. Let me zoom out on that, or zoom in on that little move right there. I mean, that is a absolutely textbook, beautiful chart pattern. You start getting this rounded bottom. The lows start getting higher. You get the explosion out. then you come right back down and you touch that resistance, and then you take off. Let's see if I can get this to stay. Comes back down, touches the resistance level, which becomes support, and once it holds that support, gets back above that 8-period exponential moving average. That is typically my buy signal on these patterns, and you just hold it and ride it as long as it stays above that 8-period exponential moving average. Usually when you get a big move off of it, like say something like this, I'll usually end up taking at least some of my profits. I won't wait, because when it gets too far away from these moving averages, the moving averages tend to be like gravity. Get too far away from it, it tends to kind of like snap back into it. So when you get a big extended move off of it, I usually try to sell at least part of my position. Sometimes it'll come back to touch that moving average and continue higher. But actually, more often than not, when you get a big move off of it, it usually ends up being at least the short-term high. It has to consolidate this move up and go sideways for a little bit before it can start to move higher, if it does. But that was a very, very nice looking pattern back in 2018. Like I said, I wish I would have seen it then, but these patterns happen all the time. If you guys start flipping through charts, looking for this, you are going to see it all the time. Most uptrends start with this. Not every single one, but you'll be surprised how many start with this little pattern right here. This is the first step, and if you can start recognizing that first step, it makes the rest of your trading journey a heck of a lot easier. But let's go to another chart I'm watching right now. Okay, another stock that I am watching right now is India Globalization Capital Incorporated, ticker symbol IGC. We can see this one had a nice big move up back in August, and it is starting to come around the other side of a rounding bottom. You're getting these spikes higher. You're actually getting one at the moment that is starting to pull back. But after you get, 3 or 4 of these things, then eventually you usually do get the breakout. This one I am watching to see how it holds. When it comes back to this support level, I'm going to go intraday to the hourly so you can see it. But this is the support level. I'm actually really curious to see how it holds this 8-period exponential moving average. It looks like it's almost there. I think if it does hold it and starts to move higher again, unlike these moves right here where it comes back into it and just slices right through it and doesn't hold it, I'm waiting for it to come down to this 8-period exponential moving average, hold it, make another green candle, and that would be my buy signal. This one I am watching intently because this one tends to really move. I mean, you can see the move that it had back in August. It went from about 67 cents to a high of 450 in just a couple of days. I mean, this thing really moves. And if you go back in time a little bit, let me back out. You can see that that move was practically nothing compared to the one in 2018. I mean, let's not even get too far ahead of ourselves. Look at this move that it had in 2019. In the beginning of 2019, at the end of February, it went from 39 cents all the way up to 325 in a couple of days. Basically the blink of an eye. In June, it went from 89 cents to almost 250, in less than a week. And if we go back to that other huge move that it had, I mean, we're talking in about a month or so, it went from roughly a quarter all the way up to almost $15 a share. So when this thing gets momentum, it can really run. So this one I am trying to keep a laser focus eye on. And hopefully it doesn't skyrocket too hard if it comes off that 8-period exponential moving average. But if it does that and it holds that 8-period exponential moving average and starts to move higher, I'm going to jump in on some of this and see how far it goes, and hopefully it'll get one of these other huge moves up, and I would love to ride that for a 3, 4, 500%. But this one I am watching really close, so I wanted to make sure to show this one to you guys in case this fits your risk parameters. But let's go on to the next stock. All right, the next one that I wanted to show you is Southwestern Energy, ticker symbol SWN, and this one is making a very nice pattern. And actually, I am starting to see a lot of oil and gas, lower price stocks show up on my screen. So we could be entering potentially a bull market for the oil and gas stocks because they look like they are starting to come under accumulation. They've been unloved for so long, and that only doesn't last forever. Eventually people start coming back into it. And actually, Southwest Energy has a pretty decent looking income statement for a lower price oil and gas stock because the oil and gas sector, as we know, just been getting crushed, and their numbers aren't looking so good. But Southwest Energy's actually doesn't look too bad. But anyway, getting to the chart pattern, we can see that it is forming a very nice rounding bottom. It is starting to break above resistance, and I am very curious to see how it holds. And if it can hold it and make another green candle above that 8-period exponential moving average, I think Southwest Energy is going to be off to the races because, like I said before, oil and gas stocks with good financials are pretty tough to come by, and actually Southwestern Energy's numbers aren't too bad. So I'm going to be watching this one very closely. We go back to the daily chart. Let me get rid of this line real quick. Actually, let's go to the weekly chart. You can see how far this stock has come down, and it was actually a very expensive stock for a lot of years. I mean, you're talking from 2008 all the way to 2015. This was, in the 40s. It went over 50 a couple of times. It actually split in 08. It split 2-1, and in 05, it looks like it split twice, 2-1. So I mean, this stock was a very, very good company. A high flyer in this sector when the oil sector wasn't getting hit so hard. But it wouldn't surprise me one bit if it becomes actually a big winner to hold for many years, just because their financials aren't doing too bad. But if we look at the weekly chart, I mean, we can see it is finding support at the 50-period simple moving average, and that is starting to hook higher on that support. So very, very, very nice looking pattern on Southwest Energy, not only in the short term, but also in the long term. So this is one I've had my eye on. And if I do get in this, I don't know. I might even end up holding this for the long term because the oil stocks have been getting beat down pretty hard. And it would be nice to hold on to a decent one in case, oil does eventually go on a decent run. So Southwest Energy is a very, very interesting play at the moment. All right, before I get out of here, I did want to make one more point. This is the current chart of IDEX, ticker symbol IDEX. I sold yesterday at $2.59, and as we can see today, it is exploding higher. It made a new high. It's pulled back a little bit from that all-time high, but man, just another huge up day. It's up another 37% as we speak, so it was up over 50% at one time today. So I sold a little too soon, but these penny stocks are going absolutely crazy. Normally when I get a move like this, I'll sell because very seldom does it keep going, but we are in an environment right now where these stocks are going crazy. So I'm going to go back to implementing the incremental sell because I've been selling the last couple of stocks that I've sold off a little bit too early. And actually when I went on YouTube last night and put Ideanomics and IDEX into the search, I started seeing some other creators piling in and putting videos of this, so I knew once I saw that I sold too early, that it was going to be much higher today. But that is what's going on with this environment. So stocks are taking off, and that is, I mean, just to make another beautiful point about this pattern, I mean, this shows the accumulation early on. Let me see if I can go to the hourly chart here. Get this stuff out of here. But this shows the accumulation early on. And by the time it starts exploding is when everybody else starts noticing it, and then they start making their YouTube videos, or they start talking about it in blogs and stuff. And this is a great pattern to get in early on some of these high flyers because you get in these stocks before they jump on everybody else's radar, and then when everybody else they start popping up on everybody else's radar. That just feeds more into it, and you can use that momentum to maximize your gains. And right now, we are certainly in an environment where these low-price penny stocks are they're just having explosive runs. And I have been making a mistake of selling some of mine too early, so I'm going to make an adjustment until that environment changes. I'm going to go back to the incremental sell if I start getting some more big winners. But I just wanted to let you guys know about that. I mean, you get into these certain types of trading environments where certain things start working, then they kind of go out of favor, and then they come back. So you gotta constantly be watching and see what's going on and evaluating some of your decisions and making the adjustments. But when you start getting huge moves like this, all the other people in the world start seeing it, and next thing you know, they start making videos on it or talk about it in blogs, and that attracts more people, and then you get more buying and more buying. And long story short, in this environment, I have been selling too soon, but I just wanted to make that point before I got out of here. And if that changes, if I start seeing that change again, I'll definitely let you guys know in a video. But I'm going to try to be holding on just a little bit longer on my big winners. All right, folks, that's all I got, so I'm going to end the video right there. But let me know down in the comments if you own this stock or if you have any future price projections. Also, let me know if you have any other information on this company. I'd love to hear more about them. Please like the video for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so you don't miss any future trading or investing ideas. Thank you so much for watching my video all the way to the end. And until next time, take care, everybody.